Hey, what's up, guys? It's MyGamesGX here, and we're back from Nets. Didn't do too well, but we'll talk about that on stream, so make sure to check that out later. But we are going to be talking about the new Master Duel ban list that just released a few moments ago. I decided to get quick on this because I think that a lot of people are going to have some questions about like what we do in a post Gimmick Puppet little world, because if you didn't know, if you're living under a rock, basically Gimmick Puppet Nightmare was banned on Master Duel and on top of Ido, which is pretty crazy to see, I won't say. Because a lot of the time I thought that we were going to see if anything happens to Branded, it would be the Sanctifier ban, which I think is a pretty heavy-handed ban. I don't think that Branded deserves it, but I just kind of thought that would be, everyone's like, Sanctifier ban. I think it was a lot. I think I like this hit a lot more for multiple different reasons, but we'll get into it. So yeah, Gimmick Pup is kind of that card that we send off of Branded to achieve kind of like a really good game one board stay. It helps us play through hand traps mostly. I really like it for just like guaranteeing a really good board. So I mean, depending, Branded is really a technical and sequencing deck, but I think that of course that this led to a little frustrations. But seeing Gimmick Puppet and Ido ban is an interesting take because you aren't getting rid of the Sanctifier. That means there are other targets. They only banned the two best targets, being Ido and Gimmick Puppet. Gimmick Puppet is the best because it can be sent off of Grand Guignol very easily as a combo piece to set up your Gimmick Puppet lock, or you could also obviously use it. It's also a dark, so it's very good at typing, and it's just such a good like blanket lingering effect. Ido is also very good because it could also be sent off of Grand Guignol, and also it's very good in general because it's just blanket. Your no one can summon monsters, which is really good. So I think overall, if this is happening in Master Duel, I think that overall we should be seeing this in the TCG as well sometime soon. Now, I do think Sanctifier will get the reprint. Now, I mentioned before that the fact is, Sanctifier wasn't on the showcase of the reprints for the Megatons. So, I think that overall, that means, a lot of people saw that as, oh, Sanctifier is going to get banned. I don't think Konami is going to, I don't think that immediately means Sanctifier won't get banned for a few different reasons. First of all, I think that Konami still needs to get the reprint equity out of it, and it is a somewhat expensive card, so they are going to definitely want to get the reprint. And the other reason is I don't think that they really have to necessarily showcase every single card in the set. It would be great to see a QCR of it, honestly, even if it did get banned. But I think that, Branded, I think Konami sees that Branded would kind of get hit a bit heavy by having the Sanctifier ban. So I think that overall, that they might be testing, get banning the Gimmick Pup and the Ido. I also think in Master Duel for reason 3, though, is that in a best of 1, Gimmick Puppet is absolutely broken. So I think that having some sort of hit definitely makes sense in that meta. Like, I've been playing Master Duel and now I can't play Gimmick Puppet, but obviously I'm going to go over to something else. We have definitely a lot of actually different options now. Alright, so we're going to talk about the best replacements for Ido and Gimmick Puppet. I do think in the TCG we could definitely just see Gimmick Puppet being banned without Ido being banned, so I would say that if that scenario happens, Ido is the next best option. I do think that there are other really good options that are probably very much untested. I just wanted to give you guys just the quick kind of options that you guys have. So I'd say Ido comes after Gimmick Puppet. Obviously, Gimmick Puppet is the best. It's just the most generic, very easy to send, and also just has the best effect. Then you have Ido, which is also very easy to send, and it's a dark, so it kind of synergizes with your deck, and it's still a really good effect. So it has a pretty good, just like other effects, so it's definitely good. I would say if Ido and Gimmick Puppet get banned, you do have the Arcjet Lightcraft, which is a level 9 light machine, and if you control no monsters, you can normal summon it, and basically it helps you normal on normal or special. You can target one level 8 or lower machine in your graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, it becomes 9 and negate its effect. So it'd be interesting. You have Sprine in the graveyard, but that effect will never really come up. But the other effect that's really relevant is it's a continuous effect. As long as it's face up on the field, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck, except for machine exceeds monsters. So that's a pretty good effect in my opinion, because the fact is it's a level 9 light, so you can send off a Grand Guignol when you use its effect, and then you can obviously go Sanctifier, summon this to your opponent's side of the field, and the only way they're outing it is if they have a Gear Giant X in their extra deck, and I don't know what meta deck runs that at the moment. We don't have super heavy Samurai, at least here in the TCG, so in Master Duel this might be a little bit of a different case, even though I do play a lot of Master Duel and I don't see enough super heavy to really say Arcjet wouldn't be my next best replacement. And, I'm going to be testing this next after the Gimmick Puppet ban in Master Duel. I'm looking forward to it because I think it's going to be pretty good. It might be a good trial run for the TCG. I will say that we do have other really good projected uses as DD Orthros once we get into a meta, maybe without Unchained or Ubel really at the forefront, or Fiendsmith cards like in a year or something. I think that DD Orthros could definitely be one of our better options because it is a lingering effect like the Gimmick Puppet. So once it's summoned, once it's on the field, it can't be negated. Your opponent can't summon any other monsters but fiends. That can be a pretty devastating effect overall, even against like basically Snake Eye, right? Like, yeah, you can get your Promethean, but you can't do anything else. So the only thing is it's a level 4 dark, so you can't summon it, you can't send it off a Grand Wignall. So that is definitely something to consider. And then also you just have the fact that it locks you into fiends. So, obviously Ubel is gonna just run through this card. So I don't think it's very viable. This happened right now, but something that we can definitely consider down the line. We do have Ra's Disciple, which is kind of what people used to use with Branded Expulsion back when Branded was kind of just starting out after the structure deck. And I still think it's a fairly good option because overall it locks you into, monsters that basically are you're locked into the God cards. So you can't send it off of Grand Guignol, but obviously these two guys you can send off of Branded Fusion just easily. Go Branded Fusion, make Albion, Branded Fusion, make Lubellion, and then you can. It's always a 2-card combo though, because this makes Branded Fusion 1-card Gimmick Lock a 2-card combo with these two cards. That's why they're not as good. This is still a 1-card combo with Light Craft Jet, so that's why I still think it's the best option out of all of these, frankly. That's why Ido would be the best option because it keeps the Gimmick Lock into a 1-card combo, so I think it justifies the brick. As a 2-card combo, it might be a lot harder. Obviously, it gets a lot, more commitment and more hand traps at that point. I would say it's, these options are basically not worth it at that point, I'm going to say. So I think that that's definitely, I think, a fair hit by Konami. I think Bang Sanctifier would be a bit heavy-handed, but I do think that overall, if we have to choose these kinds of options, I do think Arcjet is very good though. I think that's a pretty solid option overall. But maybe they're just gonna have to make more Xyz machine monsters. So I do think that we do have Ra's Disciple as a decent option and DD Orthros to consider for the future. Ra's Disciple probably being a little bit better than Orthros at the moment, but Orthros has a lot more potential going down the line as long as we keep Sanctifier. And then we have Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. This monster obviously basically link locks you. Sprite was using this a lot in 2023's Nats format, so I think that it worked there for them a lot, but it really only worked against Branded a lot. Other decks had like links, so I think Ibli is not a very good option, especially right now with Snake Eyes and just everyone running links besides Branded, so this isn't a good option. Then you have silly things like Spell Canceller. You can't send it off of Grand Guignol, you can't send it off of Branded Fusion, so I don't think it's a very good option overall. All right, so the last option I'm going to present, which might be the best option depending, especially if Sanctifier gets banned, because this is one of your best options if Sanctifier just gets straight up banned. Shaddoll Schism. Shaddoll Schism basically allows you to Miracle Fuse out your graveyard for a Shaddoll Fusion, which is pretty cool. And also it kind of allows you to do some other things, but the main point is you get to fuse, and it's a trap. How do you get this trap out though? Well, you have a thing called El Shaddoll App Cologne, which is a level 6 dark, which means it can be sent off a Grand Guignol. So most of the time what you will do is you will go Grand Guignol effect, send the App Cologne. App Cologne effect will then say you can add 1 Shaddoll card from your deck to your hand, and then discard 1 card. So you'll add Schism, and then discard 1 card, and the App Cologne will be in the graveyard. Then you can set this past your opponent, and then you can basically go Shaddoll Schism and draw phase and make the window by banishing out your graveyard the App Clone plus basically any other dark monster, which is pretty easy to achieve in Branded. So I think this might actually be the better option if something such as even the Gimmick Puppet ban gets banned, because then we only have to run Schism, and then we get to run these 2 cards, but it's a 2-card extra deck commitment, to be fair. That was a lot, but we might just remove window that, or sorry, I mean, I would still keep Sanctifier. I think Sanctifier is way too good, especially when they go battle phase. You need something for evenly. Obviously you can run the Blazing Branded King, but I think that Sanctifier is a bit more of an easy out for that, and it's also just such a good card to present against decks that target. So I love that card. Hope they don't ban it, but yeah, no, I think that overall, with the fact that Master Duel is looking like a test case for a lot of what Konami's doing nowadays. So I wouldn't doubt if this came to the TCG and you guys need to prepare for that. I'm not saying sell your Sanctifiers, I'd say, you know, your Gimmick puppets might have their days numbered, but I think that Konami is, they like branded, they don't want to ruin the deck. You know, a lot of people invested in the deck, I think. So and it's just been a fan favorite. So, and they want to make an anime out of that. You know, they want to make the all arts, they want to make the reprints. So they aren't going to kill the deck. That's why I don't think the deck is going to get hit anytime soon. We might see something in a couple months or, you know, a year or something, but I would say prepare for then, but for now, use your Gimmick puppets. You know, get your I wouldn't say get your Idos because Ido's a $40 card, so that's why also it just seems like a good hit. Them just saying a $40 like card that never got a reprint, and then just never not needing to give it a reprint. So that's why it just like seems like the most logical hit in the TCG. Even like I never even thought about both of these, and this is pretty good. That makes it so like your other options are pretty bad. But I think that, you know, things like we mentioned, like the Arc Light is very good. So definitely consider things like Arclight and Schism, I think, are the two best options. If uh, Sanctifier gets banned, I think this is obviously one less, two less cards. So I think, but it's also technically a little more outable because your opponent can obviously go Droplet. You can't Droplet, I mean, you can't Droplet Winda, to be fair. So I think overall, um, you know, stuff to consider. You could also just Tribute. So yeah, I think it's like your options are a bit worse. So that's why I'm thinking like Windows probably better because I don't like the fact that you contribute. So yeah, guys, what do you guys think down below? I want to know what you guys think. What option are you guys gonna try in Master Duel now that obviously Gimmick Puppet will be banned very soon? I think on the 24th. Maybe it's gonna be. Maybe it's already applied. So yeah. And then also, if this happens in the TCG, is Sanctifier going to get banned? Is it going to be the Gimmick Puppet and Ido like we just saw? Let me know down below in the comments. We're going to be streaming later today. Catch that out later. And see you guys. Have a good one.